Hi there, it's Sandra, and you are listening to the podcast A Duchess Like Us. Hello, and welcome to episode 7 of A Duchess Like Us, a podcast that reports positively and fairly on Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Today, I am pleased to welcome back my co-hosts for this episode of the podcast. So, would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Nelly, your foul-mouthed sister from over Hadrian's Wall. And you can follow me at Harklestan. No bots, please.
Hi, I'm Gayle Edwards, and you can follow me on Twitter at Breakthrough Diva, and I stand with the Sussexes.
Good. So do we. We stand with the Sussexes.
Yeah, as do I.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this week has been extremely interesting for the Sussex Squad fans. The Sussexes have just completed their 10-day tour of Southern Africa, and the Duchess has announced plans to sue the Mail on Sunday in the High Court in London. And I think it's for breach of copyright when they published parts of her private letter that she wrote to her father in August 2018. The letter basically stated or asked him to stop talking about her and Harry in the press, and he published that letter. So today, in this episode of the podcast, we're going to cover the last few days of the Southern Africa tour, and finally, we're going to talk about the Sussexes announcing their legal action against the Mail on Sunday and Harry's statement that accompanied that announcement of the legal action. So here we go. So I'm just going to highlight the last few days of the Southern African tour, and then we can start talking about it. So after day 3, the tour split, and Harry spent next few days visiting countries such as Malawi, Angola, and Botswana. One of the highlights of his solo tour was seeing Harry in Angola. There he retraced his mother's footsteps by walking through a minefield and defusing a landmine. Then Harry actually visited the place where his mother did that walk through the minefield. And 22 years later, it's a bustling town. Now that is a wonderful legacy. Meghan stayed in South Africa. She attended several private meetings with female entrepreneurs, female activists, etc. On approximately day 7 or day 8, she flew with Archie to Johannesburg, where she undertook some more solo engagements. Finally, on day 9, Prince Harry flew back to South Africa and joined her and Archie in Joburg. And then they completed the final 2 days together, where they met the President and First Lady of South Africa and Nelson Mandela's widow, Gracia Machel. Now, that is a wonderful tour. So, ladies, what do you think about the second half of the tour?
Oh, I loved it. I've got to say, for me, it was just as enthralling as the first half. And seeing, anybody, you'd have to have some kind of concrete heart not to have felt for Harry when he was in Angola. And particularly the poignant image of him sitting under the tree, him meeting the lady whose name, is it Sandra? And whose name escapes me, that was that originally brought Princess Diana to tears when she was there. And also just bringing attention to some of the conservation issues in Botswana and Malawi. I just thought the second half of the tour was amazing. Of course, Meghan did not disappoint. Because, to be honest, every day was a highlight for me, but there were some things that really touched me. I loved when they didn't film it, but when she went to ActionAid, the charity that helps women who are victims of abuse. I just thought the fact that she went there, even though it wasn't televised, the fact that she went there, she showed her support. She was able to connect with them. And, I think, I can't remember there were so many good bits. It's all starting to merge into one now. But there was one particular organisation that she met with that called her the Duchess of Solutions, the Duchess with Solutions.
Yes, that's right.
Oh,
Who
I
was
mean,
that?
yeah,
Was that
I
not
mean,
the when she visited the University of Johannesburg?
the
Wasn't that
ACU, was it when she
yeah,
did
that
the
was
ACU? And just hearing, this was not a royal tour by either Harry or Meghan, where they turned up in their fancy clothes, shook some hands, smiled gracefully, and then went back to wherever it was they were. This exactly, they summed it up perfectly. That was exactly what they were there for. They were there to get to know the people, learn what was going on, and help them to provide solutions. So yeah, I thought it was a very, very successful tour. Loved it. And then of course when she did the impromptu trip to Victoria's Yards, which was the enterprise hub, where she picked up her jeans from the young man that made the jeans, where the crown is the emblem and the three spokes on the crown represent the women that reared him, and he made a surprise pair of dungarees for Archie. Oh, I can't wait to see Archie in those. But that she also met, the sorbet sellers. It was I just thought, this is a woman that's come to have an impact. She's not there just as a figurehead. She's there to have impact, and I think she achieved that. So yeah, so that was my take on it. I loved all of it, but they were
yeah,
some
I
of my
thought
highlights.
yeah, I especially I quite liked her visit to to University of Johannesburg, and announcing that there would be new scholarships that they would be
Yeah.
presenting to students to study throughout the Commonwealth, offering it at University of Johannesburg and Stellenbosch, and I can't remember the other universities, but it was for South African universities, and yeah, I mean that was really good. That was really good, and like you, I did enjoy her visit to the that creative place where she got those jeans, and it was, for me, it's wonderful to see that side of South Africa, because
Yes.
that's all the only thing that you hear about South Africa is the negativity, but
It's the
that goes
violence.
it's the
Yes.
violence, it's the negativity, and it's wonderful to see Black people creating and innovating, and doing their best to like dispel this notion that Africa is a broken that South Africa is a broken country. It isn't. It has some of the brightest people there, and it's just get rid of the political corruption and other remnants of colonialism, and and well, there's so many things that need to be, there's it's a different conversation, obviously not one for this podcast, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that she highlighted the positive innovations that are happening in that country, and that's being led through its young people, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what they're both about. They believe in the young people of the Commonwealth to carry out to be the future of this of those nations, and to carry it through and see its survival. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy that they highlighted that. And yeah, and also speeches. We got speeches from both of them on the last day.
Amazing.
And it was really cool, because usually the lead royal, which in the case is Harry, will usually be the only one that speaks, but you got a two-hander with both him and Meghan speaking. It goes to show how much of an equal partnership that they have, and I just love I love the last speeches that they had given. Really, they were very thoughtful, and of course, Meghan, it being her first time in South Africa, found it beautiful, and loved what she saw. So I think that this tour is definitely by far my favorite tour of theirs.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I think it's been my favourite royal tour ever. It's certainly been the one I've been most invested in.
Well, yeah.
It was, I learned loads from this tour. I learned a lot about South Africa, about the causes they were supporting, why they were supporting, the impact of that support, about, I had no idea about, the high rates of gender-based violence in South Africa. I knew about the high rates of violence, but I didn't realize, the increasing numbers of gender-based violence. I learned all about that as a result of this tour. And as a direct result of that, I am now supporting charities that help with that. So I think it's been an amazing tour. Amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think that they have shown the world, number one, they are wonderful ambassadors. They are people you can send around the world, and wherever they go, people will come out and see them and want to meet them. When they go to these places, they are invested in those places, and they do their research, they do their homework before they get there, and so they know what's going on. And so when they become part of the project, it's not like, oh, please tell me what's going on. They know what's going on, and they're like spokesmen for the project. So that's what I respect about them as well. And I have got the utmost respect for Meghan, because any woman who has had a baby 4.5 months ago and goes on tour, halfway around the world with a newborn baby, and people didn't know she had a baby, you wouldn't know that she'd been on maternity leave. She was just in there. She worked hard. Harry worked hard as well, and they were really good. They did me proud. I think they are wonderful ambassadors, and congratulations to them. They did absolutely well, and I am looking forward to more tours of them around the Commonwealth and around the world. So yeah, that's my take on that, really. Yeah.
Yeah. I have to echo that as well. They did amazing. Whether they're here or across the sea, doesn't matter. They're the same. They're the same people. And one thing that Nelly said, actually, that I'd like to just pick up quickly before we move on, is about them being a partnership. I think that more than anything else, not only did it really shine through on this tour. I mean, we knew it even before this tour, because we've seen how they engage and interact with each other. But on this tour, they were so, as professionally, they were on point together. But personally, there is no doubt to the strength and the love that exists within that relationship. And we saw it when they then brought Archie into the mix. You can see that the three of them have got a bond. They've got their circle of love that they're, enveloped in. And nobody, no amount of press foolishness, no amount of sibling rivalry, toxic relationship is going to undermine that. You can see that they are together.
Absolutely. They are a partnership in every sense of the word, and they're a wonderful little family, and it was really lovely to see. So yeah, but they're just, people have their jealousies or their things or their the naysayers about the couple, but you know what, you can't fault them on their work. They work bloody hard, and it shows, and no one can deny that, you know.
Exactly.
So have we got anything else to say on the tour, or are we happy with that?
I'm happy with the tour. I want to get to this lawsuit, because
so do I.
This legal action.
So do I.
Boy,
we're trying to be nice and trying to cover everything. But let's get to nitty gritty. Okay, the legal action against the Mail on Sunday. So Meghan announced on Tuesday evening. Tuesday evening or Monday evening? Tuesday evening. Yes, Tuesday evening, that she is going to be taking the Mail on Sunday to court for breach of copyright infringement of her privacy, and breaches of the Data Protection Act 2018 in the UK.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So my understanding is that the breach of contract is based on the fact that Meghan owns the copyright of a letter that she sent to her father. And the letter she sent to her father was one in 2018, when she asked him to stop talking about her and Harry to the media. He decided to release parts of that letter when Meghan's friends basically had an interview with, I think it's the People magazine, and basically said, give her a break. So he released the letter or parts of the letter, but because my understanding is she owns the copyright because she is the author of the letter, he had no right to give the letter to the Mail on Sunday, and they had no right to publish it because he did not have the copyright to it. So that was the first thing. Along with announcing that she was taking the Mail on Sunday to court for breach of copyright, Prince Harry also released a statement going along with that. And basically, I'm going to paraphrase it. He said that he and his wife believed in, was it the freedom, not the freedom of the press, but the press reporting objectively and fairly. However, he believed that his wife was being bullied, especially during the last year, in which included her pregnancy and her maternity leave. He made comparisons with how the press treated his mother, Princess Diana, and then he also stated that, I'm paraphrasing again, he'd lost his mother and he was afraid that he was going to lose his wife as well. So, how do we feel about that?
How do we feel about that? Can I just clarify a few points about the actual legal action?
Yeah, sure.
So when it comes to copyright, Meghan wrote the letter, which she then sent to her dad. So her dad owns the letter, so to speak, because she gifted it to him. However, the contents of the letter, the words, belong to Meghan. And in the UK, with copyright is not something you have to apply for. It's automatic. So the fact that she wrote those words, she doesn't have to prove it even, right? The fact that she wrote the words means that she has automatic copyright. Now, Thomas Markle, her father, or anybody for that matter, is well within their rights to pass that letter on to anybody. What they cannot do is that they cannot alter those words, because that is breach of copyright. And what the Mail on Sunday did was they did edit the letter to make it look, basically to manipulate opinion against Meghan. So that's why she's able to sue them for breach of copyright, because they altered her words without her permission. They redacted some stuff, and they paraphrased some stuff. And the other thing, it's not just the Mail on Sunday; it's also their owner, the
parent group,
Associated Newspapers, as well. So Meghan has got a really strong case. Something really drastic would have to happen for them not to win this case, quite frankly. We all know she's got Rottweilers for lawyers, shillings. They're well known when it comes to anything to do with copyright, anything to do with press intrusion. They are at the top of their game. But what I have a real issue with this legal action is that this is more than just Harry and Meghan. They happen to be the figureheads here, but this can be anybody. Any one of us can be subject to exactly the same thing that the Mail on Sunday have done to Meghan, and and it's not hard. All it takes is for someone to be quite vocal about something, or a tragedy to have happened in someone's family, even like Ben Stokes the other day. well, where that tragedy happened to his family before he was even born. But now that he's a, player of the year, they brought out all his family history into, the public arena. It's not on. Under no circumstances, doesn't matter whether you're Meghan or whether you're me, it doesn't matter. It's not on. And I think it's about time that the press were held to account, because after Diana, after the Leveson inquiry, you'd think that things would improve. And they did for a time, for a short time, but now we are right back to that gutter press tabloid. I don't even want to say the word. This whole thing has got me so cussed. Everyone knows I'm not a person to use swear words, but I tell you, this whole incident has got me so riled up that because we'll come on to that bit, I'm sure, because I can't believe the opinions of some people who say that they're in the wrong. They are not in the wrong.
They're not in the wrong. The thing is that it's not only is it breach of contract, breach of copywriter, sorry. It's like being a photographer. If you take a picture, you own the copyright. So you have to, if someone else wants to use it, whether you send it to them as part of a Snapchat or Facebook, you still own the copyright. So they have to ask for permission to use it. And this is the same with the letter you just explained. So not only is it a breach of copyright, it's also an invasion of privacy, because is it in the public interest that we, the people, see this letter that she sent from herself to her father? In my opinion, it is not in the public interest. No. And this is what it's all about. So therefore, they're breaching her privacy. And her father has breached her privacy as well, because basically she sent him a letter saying, please don't diss me in the public. Please don't talk about me and my husband. Please don't talk about his family. And get his point across. He's basically breached her privacy. And by talking to the Mail on Sunday, they've breached her privacy. So yes, I do think that Meghan has got a brilliant case. I really would like to know how. I want to see how the papers respond to it, how they're going to argue this in court. That's my thing.
Just to with regards to that letter that was sent in August 2018 from Meghan to the sperm donor, she
let's not even put any respect on it. Just call it as it is.
Yeah, the reason why he sent that letter was because he was prodded by that the People magazine. When 5 of Meghan's friends sort of defended her, and one of them said she wrote to her father asking him to stop, and in his genius mind, thinking that this letter was going to exonerate him, he sent it. I imagine that he sold it to the Mail on Sunday for how much money I don't know. But then again, for he probably gave it to them for free because he's a spiteful bastard, But even the excerpts that they did take out, it didn't exonerate him. I mean,
exactly, it didn't. It made him look worse.
It made him look worse, and I remember reading up a follow-up report on it by Richard Kay. Please do not shoot me for reading the Daily Heil. But Kay himself said there was a lot more to that letter, but for obvious reasons, it was they only picked out certain sections so that the father could explain himself. The rest of it was a bit much, which meant that she went all the way in on his ass. Yeah.
And the thing as well, I mean, you asked earlier, Sandra, you said it's interesting to see how the press respond to this. Well, we've seen today, there's been a flurry of activity from yesterday and today. There's been a flurry of activity from the press that know that if they haven't already received their papers, they know their papers are coming soon. Those journalists that aren't worried, right?
Mm-hmm.
Omid Scobie, Harper's Bazaar, he's not worried. He's carrying on his job anyway because he knows he's not worried. Keir Simmons is not worried, right? The others, I don't even want to mention their names, but we know who they are. When we talk about camel toe, we know who we mean, right?
When we talk about Emu the steer, we know who we mean.
Yeah.
We know who we mean. When we talk about, low life, we know who we mean, right? Right? They're worried, shipwrecked. They're all worried because they know what they have done. They know what they have done. They know what they have said. They know the vitriol, the hatred that they have whipped up. They have whipped the British public, well, not the British public, thankfully, but their readers. They have whipped them up into a frenzy. They are the Tiki Torch mob. Well, I read some of their comments about this particular action that's been taken, and they're like, "Oh, well, she deserves it. If she couldn't handle it, she shouldn't have come in the royal family then." Oh, and things like, "Oh, Harry's just playing the Diana card." I'm sorry, you have to have a heart of absolute cold steel. If you're like me, who remembers what it was like to not only hear the news at 2-3 o'clock in the morning that night when she died, but then to see her sons, I don't like that Kane one, but even so, to see her sons walk behind her coffin and know Harry was weeks away from his 13th birthday, right? And to know, someone said, "Oh, he was too young, he can't remember." I'm sorry, as anyone that's got children knows, 12, 13-year-old, they know that, they've got their opinions and they know exactly what's going on. And to see him walk behind that coffin, that pain on his face, all the anxiety and angst and crap that he's been through over the years, trying to get himself together as a result of what happened. And now the man has found happiness. Who gives a toss who he has found happiness with? I couldn't care less if he turned up with a bearded man. I don't care. He's happy. He's happy, and they are happy. And and to see people wanting to destroy that. Oh, he's not the same fun-loving Harry. He's grown up. That fun-loving Harry that they wanted to tear to pieces so they could prop up the other one. That fun-loving Harry who supported the other one's wife, right? He
unable.
was there. Yeah, he was there. When cannot, couldn't, he was there. Right? He was there. Where have they been?
Yeah.
They're nowhere. He's supposed to be the anti-bullying spokesperson and advocate. Yeah. He's supposed to be a mental health advocate. His brother
she's supposed to be Unable is meant to be all about maternal mental health.
There you go. Early years mental health. I'm sorry, but when you have people who are that close to you going through what Harry and Meghan have gone through, and you stay silent, then in my book you are complicit. You're not just quiet. This is not part of the don't explain, don't complain mantra. This is being complicit.
Absolutely. To me, personally, this is my opinion, I think they're an absolute disgrace. I really do. Because, and not just them, but also Prince Charles and the rest of them, they could have said something. They could have just said, you know what, people in my family are being bullied and it's not right. And we need to do something about it. Something as simple as that, or even have a private meeting with the press and say, this is not on, this needs to stop.
Well, this is the thing. There was a private meeting between Kane and the newspaper editors, and it just got perpetually worse. If you believe that Tim Shipman article from back in April, then it has gotten perpetually worse, and I don't think they've supported Harry and Meghan for that matter.
I honestly feel they're jealous.
Of course they're jealous.
I don't think they realised what a powerful couple those two were going to become.
That's right, because they weren't listening. They were not paying any attention to Harry as he was growing up. Harry was doing his thing. Harry did an interview when he was about 21, something like that, 22, and he talked about the press then. He talked about, and he said, I am ultra protective of my girlfriends because, you know, they shouldn't have to go through this. So if he said that at 21, 22 about a girlfriend, what do you think he's going to say about his wife and child now when he's a grown man?
Exactly. Yeah.
Shout out to J Sam Gurley, or Truth Hurts, as she's known on
Truth
Hurts,
man.
Twitter.
But
she has about 12 or so videos of Harry talking about how much he does not fuck with the press. So I think it tells you everything you need to know how he feels about them. But still, they act so brand new. How could you shouldn't be acting brand new to this. He don't like you. He never liked you, and he also, you know. And then when you find out that he has a girlfriend, you went in on the attack. You interviewed estranged family members. You know, you insinuated that she did porn.
You know?
Yes. You also you also insinuated that of my if you go back to the start of the relationship and see articles, how they were saying how Harry and Meghan met in May 2016, which we now know is bullshit, and how they met in Toronto, we now know as bullshit. We know that's bullshit, because in May 2016 she was still in a relationship with someone else. It ended by the end of May or around that time. But they made it look like Harry, she dumped that guy for Harry, you know?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But not only that, even if she did, I mean, we know she didn't. Right now, this very day, you have the press trying to change the narrative on B, and I don't even know the man's name, but the man she's supposed to be engaged to.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. He was in a relationship. He was fucking engaged
to someone else.
Right.
And he was living with her.
And he was living with her, and B was still there sleeping with the man. But now today they want to paint, B's already a really good stepmother to right? She's already a great right. She's already a great stepmother to his son. I'm sorry.
You know what she is? Allegedly a home wrecker.
Allegedly,
that's what she is.
She's a home wrecker. She's a Spartan woman. She saw the woman with her man and her baby, and she still went there, right? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Meghan even looked at Harry whilst Harry was with another woman?
Know what's gonna. You know what would be said. What would be said.
It would be ridiculous. But you know, just coming back to this legal action, I'm so glad they took this legal action. I know there's some people are talking about the timing. No, in my opinion, the timing is absolutely perfect, because the other couple, Kane and Unable, they're due to go to Pakistan next week. The 14th of October, they're due to go, right? And you know, the moment that they wouldn't even have got back on British soil good before they would have started the comparisons. They would have, because it started yesterday already about, you know, the beanpole and her flipping liking for curry. That woman's never eaten curry in her life.
She's never eaten.
She's never eaten. She exists on dust and air. Right. But she likes spicy curry.
Come off of it. Come off of it. I actually do know. Well, I say I do know that she eats curry, but it has been mentioned before. And I think it was they were interviewed on BBC Radio 1 a while ago now, when they were promoting the London Marathon, that she does like a curry. Korma, of course, because pussies.
Stop it.
Nelly. Nelly. Oh, Nelly.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that is too funny.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My daughter's giving me side eye.
Oh my days.
The woman does not eat, right? But you can see they were already gearing up for the comparisons. They're already gearing up for the beat down of Meghan. So what they did was, oh no, you now we've got the attention of the whole world on us, and you're trying to say, what's it Piers said yesterday? In his column, he wrote, oh, this was going to be a positive column. No, it was not. No, it wasn't. He had no intention of ever writing anything positive about them. They were ready to do the beatdown, and Harry just cut them off at the pass and said, hell no.
Exactly.
Hell no. And the reason why they're all up in arms now, because they know their time is coming. Like I said, Obi's sitting down with his foot cock up at his desk at Harper's Bazaar, cool and breezy. He's all right. Obi's all right.
I look forward to his podcast.
It won't be as good as this one.
Well, this is the thing. I look forward to his podcast so long as he does not invite a lot of people on it that I cannot stand. If Emu the Seer or anyone else comes on it, I'm like, nah, you're cancelled, bruh.
It's true. Shipwrecked any of them. We don't want them anywhere near that.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So yes, I'm glad they're doing it. Oh, one other thing I was going to talk about was the press reaction. Apart from that idiot Morgan,
fuck him.
Yeah, exactly. I saw a headline today. It was in the Fail. Yeah, it was. I was breezing through. Basically, it said, "This is it." Meghan and Harry have broken protocol because they've employed the lawyer Shillings. They are also saying that they didn't tell Kane and Abel, that all Prince Charles or the Queen about the legal action, because their royal sources say that everyone is unhappy with Meghan and Harry and they've gone rogue. Now,
oh gosh, I hope that's true.
Now, yes.
I really hope they've gone rogue.
Now,
I want them to go rogue.
I don't believe that Meghan and Harry would have employed these Shillings people and not told Prince Charles or the Queen. I don't think they probably didn't tell Kane and Unable, because that's where the leaks are in Kensington Palace, aren't they, basically?
Yep.
But I do think that Prince Charles and the Queen knew. But the press are trying to stoke up this thing that, oh, they've gone rogue and they're not listening to advice. They are listening to advice. They're listening to the advice of people who are skilled in their area, and they're paying a hell of a lot of money for that advice. So I think I take the advice of trained people, of trained lawyers.
Can we just say they're paying a hell?
Courtiers.
Can we just say they are paying a hell of a lot of their own money as well?
Thank you.
Their own money.
Yes. To do this. So what do you think of this so-called outrage and how Meghan and Harry have gone rogue? What do we think of that?
They're not gone rogue, but they've gone rogue. They've gone rogue. But the thing is that makes me laugh is, again, they're trying to change the narrative. Again, I saw two headlines today. One calling Harry unstable. Unhinged. Harry is now unhinged.
Girl, do not get me started.
Oh yeah, Harry is now unhinged, and Diana was mentally unstable, because they're now trying to change the narrative, aren't they? So all of this going rogue, unhinged, it's to create this, these people don't know what they're doing, they're not listening, They're creating havoc. They're a law unto themselves. It's a load of rubbish. Look, let's be really, really clear. Had it not been for the press intrusion against them in the first place, or against Meghan in particular, they have slated that woman just for having the audacity to breathe whilst black, right? They have slated her for that. And
Preach.
after 3 years, she's had enough. Harry, any woman that says she doesn't want her husband or her man sticking up for her, she's lying. She's lying, right?
I agree.
So absolutely, she's lying. Harry did what any self-respecting man would do. He saw what was going on. He tried to ease her pain. He tried to reason with them. If you read his statement, he says they tried to sit down and talk about it. I'm paraphrasing, but they tried to sit down and talk about it, but they've left him with no recourse now but to take legal action. He has done the right thing, and I love that they set it up. Let me tell you, I love Harry and Meghan. They are so clever. The very first day of their tour, Harry talked about it. He said, "It is my moral duty to protect my wife and my son, and to lead by example for my son." By the end of the tour, he told them straight, "Not on my watch."
Good.
Not on my watch.
And that's
they
so
deserved
true.
it.
Yeah.
They deserved it.
They got complacent. They thought that they could continually hammer her and slash her, and there's not a thing they could do about it. And they were like, Meghan and Harry were like, here's the rope. Go on, let me give you enough. Go on. Oops, you hanged yourself now.
He talked about, it's the whole sort of culture of consent in which, in which the media have pushed and pushed and pushed, making some very sick insinuations and look, do you also remember that dude from the Celebrity Reporter wrote 2 articles whilst Meghan was pregnant, linking her to fucking boy band members and the
yes. Matt
while she was pregnant. You want to talk about fucking bad timing? Why did that come out around then? Because this supposed this supposed hookup, which is not, Meghan just spoke to these guys in their Twitter DMs, and maybe just wanted to hang out or something, because that was, remember, and at the time she had the TIG, maybe she wanted to interview them or something. So to insinuate that Meghan is a woman whose morals,
and that's what that's exactly what they wanted to insinuate. And that's why that hate group, that's why they feel emboldened and empowered, because, and this is the thing, the press, I can't wait for this all to come out, because the press have not realized, or they do realize, they know exactly what they've done. They have empowered and emboldened all these people that were behind the shadows are now out in the light, saying and doing what on earth they like because they think they can, right? You've got guys right now in prison serving time because of what they intended against Prince Harry. And so Harry's right. This isn't just a something you put in the newspaper, people read it and then they chuck it away and forget it. This is people's lives. These are their lives.
And the thing, especially with the papers today, it's the digital age. It doesn't go away. When it's out on social media, it's there forever.
Look how many times we get receipts. When we're looking to prove something, we can go to Google anytime and there it is.
Yeah. It's just getting to the point now where it is dangerous. I am so glad that they are taking legal action, because it's gone too far now. It's gone way too far. And they basically, the UK press and the media around the world need to be more responsible and have some integrity. And be honest and fair about their reporting. We're not saying that Meghan and Harry are goody two-shoes and can do no wrong. But what we are saying is, please be fair. What more can you ask for?
Exactly.
That's all we're saying.
They're not Cain and unable, who are goody two shoes and can do no wrong, according to the press. Right?
Mm-hmm.
What we want more people like Keir Simmons. We want more people like Omid Scobie, who are going to just report the facts. You know, they're going to report the facts. There was a fabulous article in The Guardian today, actually, by Marina Hyde, talking about this legal action. And what she did, it's very cleverly done. It's very funny as well. She's gone back in history to see what would have happened if other, well-known monarchs had taken the newspapers to court. People like Elizabeth I, people like Catherine the Great, Anne Boleyn. It's definitely
Anne Boleyn would still have her fucking head.
But her point is basically she's in full support of Harry and Meghan. Like I said, those that have nothing to fear can be very open and vocal in their opinion because they know they've got nothing to fear.
Yeah,
they don't.
Can we also? Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry to butt in about that, but it is interesting to see The Guardian, I don't want to say far left, but a left-leaning paper that is unashamedly Republican, are the only people that are siding with the Sussexes. What the fuck does that tell you about the rest of the British media landscape? You know,
the British media landscape is. I keep saying to people who are not in the UK. We have got such a right-wing press. It's unbelievable. And they are distorting the news that's going out to people. So I don't actually read the papers in the UK anymore unless I'm looking for stuff to talk about on the podcast or whatever. I tend to go onto YouTube and find independent media because the stuff that's coming out of the Fail, the Telegraph, the Times, the Sun, the Mirror. Remember when the Mirror used to be a left-wing paper?
Yeah, I remember.
Exactly. Do you remember?
It still is technically if you're reporting about politics, but
really,
it stays hating the royals. It's very much a newspaper that does hate the royals. You know, so I think they would see themselves as being the left-leaning tabloid. And I
not
think,
really.
They would because they hate the royals.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's kind of unbelievable, really, when you think about it.
How right wing it is, and like you don't really get. I mean, even the BBC. In a way, I feel sorry for them because they are the mouthpiece of the government.
No.
They are but they're the mouthpiece. They're the mouthpiece of the government. So if they got an extreme far right government like we have now, they parrot what comes out of their mouth. If they had a Labour government, they'd swing to the left. So in a way, I discount them. But if it's like proper world news, then I sort of will watch the BBC. But you've got Sky that's right wing. You've got ITV's news. Well, that's a joke. They all lean towards the right. So we're just getting distorted news here, and people are out around the world look at the Daily Mail and the Times and think, oh well, the people of the UK, they read those. Everyone reads those papers, so therefore they support what's going on. That's not true. Yeah. It's not true at all. You know,
very true.
Not at all.
Yeah, and I also have to refer to I've seen a couple of YouGov polls. You probably saw them floating around on the internet, and all of them are saying, you got one where they're asking which member of the royal family is gets the least amount of positive press, and they all say Meghan. You know, this is obviously a sample of people in the UK. You know, which member of the royal is the press treatment of Meghan fair? And I know, not overwhelmingly, but a good size say that
it's about 40%. It was a good about 40 or 50%.
It was quite high.
But have you seen the one today which says, do do you
You
support
support the
Meghan
legal
legal
action.
action? And it worked out.
74%.
Thank you. Said they
Yeah.
agreed with Meghan and Harry taking
Yeah.
legal action. 74% is a lot of people.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
people.
But you've got the Mail and and the Sun and all those rubbish gutter presses that they should be called.
That's the word, gutter press.
Yeah, they're the ones who are trying to make out that Meghan and Harry are wrong for taking them to court. Well, you better look at that survey, mate, because 74% don't agree with you. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. They don't agree, and also
you're not going to see Palmolive put that poll up on his Twitter, prick.
Oh, I've blocked him now. I can't be asked him
I've
anymore.
blocked him too, but this is a guy who goes to all of the right wing pollsters and says, "See, Meghan is not popular with these people. They hate her."
Well, what I don't understand actually, and this is one reporter's name I am going to mention because I think I can, is Rebecca English from the Daily Mail. Right, and the reason why I'm going to mention her specifically is because how are you a royal reporter, supposedly unbiased, yet your Twitter profile is of the Cambridges, right? That's your Twitter profile pic is of the Cambridges, but you're a royal reporter. You're supposed to be impartial. You're not supposed to show any favoritism. And yes, she wrote a couple of articles, favourable articles on the tour, but you can see from her tweets that she definitely was gearing up to change tune, to change track again. So so when you have reporters like that who are so obviously pushing a narrative towards one couple more than the other, look, I couldn't tell you whether Omid Scobie loves the Sussexes or the Cambridges, quite frankly, because he's quite fair in his reporting of both of them. He tells you when the Cambridges have got engagements, he reports on them, he tells you about the Sussexes, and that's it. That's what he's supposed to do. That's his job. That's his job. The others, I'm not so certain. In fact, I know that's not the case. So you've got a right-wing press with these right-wing journalists all pushing the same narrative.
Can we actually call them journalists?
They're not journalists. They're gossipers.
They're
gossipers.
writers. Yeah, they're writers.
Yeah.
They're just
yeah.
They're gossipers.
Like, and you know that they're not. I mean, they're really shit at their jobs. English herself said, "Oh, I didn't know that Meghan taught. Was it box crafting or calligraphy or some shit like that?" That's something that Meghan has been talking about from jump. Hell, it's on her Wikipedia page. Google is your friend, bitch.
It was the calligraphy and also bookbinding.
Bookbinding, yeah. Oh my God, I'm like,
these people.
I mean, these are basic things. She could taught calligraphy classes when she was, hustling to get acting gigs, because
I know it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, and Meg. Look, I've said it before on this podcast. I became aware of Meghan Markle 8-9 years ago when Suits started. From when we got Suits here in the UK, which was at the same time that it started in the US. That's 8-9 years ago. That's when I first became aware of Meghan, and I thought she was a great little actress, actually. But what really made me interested in her was when it was quite a few episodes in. It might even have been the second series, but it was quite a way in. Her screen parents came on, and Wendell Pierce was cast as her dad. And I thought to myself, oh, that's a bit of interesting casting. She's supposed to be mixed race. And I honestly thought, is this good casting? Because she doesn't look mixed race. So I started to check her out, and then that's when I realized that her mum was this dreadlocked yoga teacher from Jamaica, and I was like, yeah, man, all right, right. And then, right, so I started to find out more about her
Until
and
you
who
find out
she
that her
is.
mum is not Jamaican.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
But that, again, a narrative they wanted to push, right? But the thing is, as well, was that in finding out about Meghan, who she was then 8-9 years ago, Meghan is the same person today as she was then. She's doing exactly the same thing today that she was then. You know, the only difference is she's married to Harry, who is a member of the British royal family, so therefore she has a bigger platform. But her voice hasn't changed, unlike some taking elocution lessons, right? Her voice hasn't changed, right? And what she's saying hasn't changed. She's not jumping around looking for causes to get involved with. She is involved in the same things she's always been involved with, which are women and feminine issues. She's involved with education. She's concerned about entrepreneurship. This is global issues. She's never spoken about climate change. It doesn't mean she's not. It doesn't mean she's not interested. But Meghan has never stood up and given a speech about climate change. That while she may be interested and passionate about it, that's not something that she is a spokesperson for. So she hasn't, and that's what I don't understand. And one final point I want to make on this as well is that with Meghan, all this stuff that comes out in the papers from her family, Meghan has been with Harry now since 2016. 4 of all the people that Meghan knows from her acting career, from her humanitarian work, from her social media, TIG, and her clothing designs, and all the stuff that she has done, 4 people have come out with negative stuff against her. Her dad, nothing more we can say about that. Her half sister.
You mean the other sister, the other daughter?
The other daughter.
Yeah.
Junior. And her ex-best friend, who's clearly got an axe to grind. 4 people. That's it. There's nobody else coming out the woodwork saying, "Oh, she's this." She's, as for, oh gosh, I can't call her that because that's not a word I use. But let's call her by her proper name, Lizzie Cundy. No, Nelly.
Don't do it. Don't do it,
Nelly,
please.
Don't go there. Don't go there, Nelly. Let's just refer to her as Lizzie Cundy, which is her name.
Lizzie C.
Right.
Lizzie don't know.
Lizzie don't know Meghan from Adam. Piers doesn't know Meghan from Adam. So these two, as for Ploppy Hopkins, she don't know her from Adam. They're not qualified to speak about who Meghan is or who Meghan is not because they don't know her. They only know what they have created about her. The people who know her, silent. Do you think they've not been offered money? Do you think they've not been, they're not constantly harassed and harangued to say something about Meghan? I can imagine poor Jessica's phone must be blowing up constantly. Misha, Serena, not even her ex-boyfriend who she was with before Harry or her ex-husband have got a damn word to say about her.
Well, he kind of spoke through his friends.
Well, yeah.
So fuck him.
But she left that marriage with nothing. She didn't want anything.
She left with a blender.
There you go, the blender. That reminds me of an ex-boyfriend I had years ago, who couldn't cook. So when I left, I took the microwave.
the poor man starved.
Exactly. He couldn't cook, so I took the microwave. That was it.
Oh dear. Anyways, all right, we're coming up to about an hour now, so I think we should sort of wrap it up because I'm sure there'll be plenty more to say on this legal case as it goes through.
Can I just say one thing, please? And it's with regards to people talking about Harry's mental health.
Yes,
royal
please.
Commentators talking about how he's fragile. The one from Sky News, the royal commentator saying that he's fragile.
Oh, that one who he sort of blew off the other day.
Yes.
Oh, Rhiannon.
Rat face. Ratface. We don't call them by their names.
Yeah.
So Ratface, who clearly all in her feckin' feelings, because Harry gave her the brush off, was like, oh, he's in a fragile state. Bitch, stop it. This is the same woman that said that literally 3 or 4 months into the marriage, asked the question, has the public fallen out of love with Meghan? I'm like, she's barely been in the country for a year. She's barely been married for a year, and you're asking this already? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? So I just, and Jenny Bond also said, she did the former royal reporter for the BBC said, he, was remarking about the statement, saying that, oh, Harry just sounded so anguished and he doesn't seem to be in the right mental state. Bitch, they've been attacking his wife since he started dating her. Everyone, it looks like everyone has everyone has a beautiful, great life. They have no problems, everyone thinks that Harry and Meghan lead this very charmed life. Well, we do not know half the shit, half the shit that they go through. It's clear that the royal family are not on their side. They're not getting any support from them. It's obvious, and then of course you got the press attacking them left, right, and center. Especially Meghan. So of course Harry's going to be pissed off. Of course he's going to be angry. You're attacking the woman he loves, and attacking her in her most vulnerable state when she was pregnant. I can't imagine how she felt when she heard her father gave that letter to the Daily Mail. A part of me thinks that she wrote that letter thinking that he might do it, he might give it away, that he might sell it, but she would think, nah, he would not be that stupid.
No, I don't think that for one moment that she really thought he would do that, because I think Meghan always relied on the fact that at the end of the day he's her dad. So he'll only go so far. I think what changed was having Archie. I remember when I had my daughter, I made a pledge, that I was no longer going to be the person that just shut up and put up, because I couldn't show her that it was okay to do that. I had to become more outspoken for myself. I had to stand up for myself, because I didn't want to show her that, that it was okay to be at everybody else's mercy. And I think Meghan, in having Archie, she's become a mother in every sense of the word. And she and Harry, both of them, want to set, well, Harry said it, they want to set a good example for their son. This is not right. Harry said it in his statement. This may not be the safe option. This may not be the safe thing to do, but it's the right thing to do. That statement, that sentence said a lot. It may not be the safe thing to do, but it's the right thing to do, because he knows, not only is he up against the press, because he knows the press are now going to lambaste them constantly. You've seen it already today. The headlines constantly. But not only that, he's then got his family. Harry and Meghan have bonded, not just because they love each other, but they have shared values. They've also got a shared experience of family. They both know what it's like to be on the outside. Right? Of course they were going to bond. And that family have not surrounded them. They're not protecting them. They are not nurturing them. They are protecting, nurturing, and surrounding others in that family who are of questionable character, let's say.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's leave it there, and we will continue when more stuff comes out about the case and we've got more information. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you to my wonderful co-hosts for joining me on this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Don't forget to send in questions or topics that you'd like to have discussed on future episodes. If you'd like to be a guest panelist on the podcast, please reach out to me at hello@aduchesslikeus.com on email, or DM me at DuchessUs on Twitter. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and please share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested in listening. If you have time, I'd be grateful if you could give me a 5-star review on iTunes, as it helps get the podcast out to other people. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode and that you'll come back for more. So I'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.